Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 81st Support Group Parade and Change of Command Ceremony. During this evening's ceremony, we will say farewell to Col Wolfgang Gesch, who relinquishes command of the 81st Support Group and becomes the Commandant, ROTC Headquarters, Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. We welcome Colonel Richard W. Taylor, who will assume command of the 81st Support Group. Brigadier General John Speigel, Commander, 81st Training Wing, will officiate the change of command ceremony and is the reviewing officer for this evening's parade. The Commander of Troops is Col Wolfgang Gesch, Commander, 81st Support Group. His staff includes Captain Kathleen Haverstock, Staff Officer, and Captain Lee Carew, Adjutant. Receiving Outstanding Unit Award streamers this evening are representatives of the 81st Civil Engineering Squadron, 81st Security Forces Squadron, and the 81st Mission Support Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of honors.
Come forward.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of our national anthem by Major John Cherry.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Department of the Air Force, Headquarters Air Education and Training Command, Special Order Number G002, dated 4 May 1998. Under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51604 and effective 5 May 1998, Col Wolfgang E.K. Gesch relinquishes command of the 81st Support Group. And effective 5 May 1998, Col Richard W. Taylor assumes command of the 81st Support Group by command of Brigadier General John M. Speigel, Commander, 81st Training Wing. Ladies and gentlemen, General Speigel.
Good afternoon, 81st Training Wing. What a wonderful Air Force day this is. Lieutenant General Mrs. Griffith, we're glad to have you with us. Brigadier General Mrs. Webster, Ms. Pellick, Adele Lyons, also from our Biloxi Chamber, men and women of the support group, family, friends of the Gesches and the Taylors. Looks like a wedding. We've got the room divided here. It looks great. Greetings to all. Change of command ceremonies mark a very special day in the heraldry of a military organization, but it's also a time of ambivalence as we bid farewell to one warrior, Colonel Wolf Gesch, and welcome another, Colonel Rick Taylor. Let me take a brief moment to say thanks to you, Wolf and Joan, for the indelible mark that you've left here at Keesler over the past 22 months. Through your leadership, you successfully mentored and guided over 1,700 enlisted officers, civilian, contractor personnel that make up that support group, which that support group does day in and day out to meet the needs of over 35,000 military, civilian, family members, and retirees who are associated here with Keesler. That is no small undertaking, and the success that you have left is evident by those that are in front of us today, as well as the great things that have been achieved here at the base. The legacy will be hard to top, and as many in the local community know, as well as those men and women at Keesler, one of the hallmarks that we had this last year is we were selected as one of the top 3 bases in the entire United States Air Force as we competed for the Commander-in-Chief's Installation Excellence Award. And Wolf, thanks to your leadership and your work, we competed very well in that. And the $250,000 that we won from that competition will go to further improve the quality of life for our men and women. Your vision, your countless hours, your leadership have brought to fruition a number of quality of life initiatives. Today, as we look around the base, we have over $190 million worth of construction work, either in design or actually out of the ground. We have a new wellness center. We have a new fitness center. We have a new marina, a new library, new child development center, new transient dormitory, student space, not to mention the continued upgrades that you've been overseeing in our family housing and our permanent party dorms, as well as our gymnasium. The list goes on and on and on in terms of the achievements that you have accomplished while here at Keesler. But now as you move on to Maxwell, to Montgomery, Alabama, where you'll take on the task of nurturing and mentoring our future officers who enter the Air Force through our Reserve Officer Training Program. This will prove both challenging as well as, I know, rewarding as you commission the Air Force's leaders for the next millennium. Joan, you've also been a part of this team, serving as a mentor and as an advisor to the young spouses within the support group, serving as an advisor onto the Keesler Officer Spouse Club, volunteer at the consignment shop, which has raised thousands of dollars in college scholarships for our Air Force children. To Chris, to Kelly, thank you for sharing your dad and mom with us for the missed dinners, birthdays, other special occasions. We know what it's like, and that sacrifice of our family members should not be taken lightly. Wolf and Joan, again, thank you for your support and your contributions. We are a better place because you have blessed us with your presence. Jackie and I, along with all the men and women of the wing, wish you the very best as in all of your efforts as you head off to become the new commandant of the Air Force Reserve Officer Training Headquarters. But now the support group does move on, and that moves on to a new phase as we welcome the Taylors, Rick and Mary, as the new leadership within the support group. While his bio is in the program, and I would commend each of you to take a moment and read through that, I would like to point out that Rick brings a wealth of experience and talent to the job, both as an aviator, as a staff officer at the base and the headquarters Air Force levels. But for many of you, you may realize that Rick and Mary are no strangers to the Mississippi Gulf Coast because they were in fact an integral part of Team Keesler just a year ago, where they had served from 94 to 97, originally as the commander of the 334th Training Squadron, and later as the Deputy Support Group Commander. So Rick, you get a chance to pick up on all those projects where you left off, or those you thought you could leave off for somebody else. They're back. So Rick and Mary, they come to us from Patrick Air Force Base, Florida, where he has served as a commander of the 45th Weather Squadron there. For those that are not familiar with it, it's a very interesting organization where he's charged with the responsibility for all operational weather support for space shuttle and rocket launches on the Eastern Test Range. His unit also was recently selected for the prestigious Mormon Award as the best specialized weather unit in the Air Force, and I know that you will continue that winning spirit here at Keesler. Gee, you're already doing pretty good with the weather, so for this evening's ceremony, so we appreciate that. Well, you're getting a great organization, Rick, and this is an exciting time to be in the support business at Keesler. Lots of things happening, lots of good things for our men and women, and I know you'll pick up right where the Gesch has left off. The transition of authority and command do not even skip a beat. Jack and I look forward to working with you and Mary in the months ahead as you lead the 81st Support Group into the 21st century. Welcome aboard, thank you, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Gesch.
Well, General and Mrs. Griffith, General and Mrs. Webster, General and Mrs. Speigel, Mrs. Pellick, distinguished guests, Team Keesler, ladies and gentlemen, what a great day, and just another day of paradise here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Adele, we're talking Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Well, having been in the shoes of the troops out there on the parade field, I will attempt to keep my remarks brief. But I do have some folks that I need to thank. General Griffith, sir, for you to be here today is particularly special. For me, you were a leadership role model and a mentor long before mentorship became a buzzword. And no doubt, key to my even coming to Keesler Air Force Base. And given what I know Keesler means to you, especially meaningful to me to come to Keesler Air Force Base. Sir, thank you for all your confidence and support through the years. General Pellick could not be with us today, but it was his focus on the mission and the troops and his breathing new life into the team of Team Keesler that was nothing short of inspiring and directly responsible for where we are today as a wing. And General Speigel, thank you, sir, for those kind words. It's been tremendous working with you, for you. The wing is flourishing under your leadership. My regret is that I won't be here on your team as you lead Team Keesler all the way to the top in Air Force installation excellence. As support group commander, I've been truly blessed. Blessed first with a dream team of squadron commanders. Those Air Force outstanding unit streamers I was proud to just present didn't just happen. They took a lot of hard work. And although those squadron commanders would give all credit to their troops, as they should, it also took great leadership. Adrian Upshur today commands the #1 large civil engineer squadron in the command, as does Nancy Weaver, the #1 mission support squadron in the command. And she, incidentally, the Air Force's Senior Personnel Manager of the Year. And our Security Forces Squadron, it's only been #1 in the command or the Air Force 8 of the last 15 years. And this past year, under Mike Irwin, the only Security Forces Squadron in the command to earn the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award. But I'm equally proud of our Communications Squadron, a team of superstars under Paul Henning, every day creating new command standards in communications and computer networking, information protection, and I think the first to standardize an email system throughout an entire wing. And it was our comm squadron, selected by the command to oversee the computer software development for all of AETC tech training. Our comm squadron today is also the best in the command. We're just waiting for the formal recognition. And our services squadron, under the new and inspired leadership of Kathy Lahan, is rising like the phoenix on its way to the top, and that too will come to pass. I've also been blessed with an incredible support staff. It's the B. Lees, Mike Browns, Patty Hollemans, Linda Sheehans, Marion Browns, Betsy Maldonados, and Eric Knutsons that made my day-to-day life a breeze. And I've been blessed with an exec in Kathy Haverstock, who has been nothing short of an incredible, strong right arm. Thank you, Kathy, for your loyalty and a lot of great work. And if all that weren't enough, I was blessed with the two best deputy support group commanders in the universe. Jim Boynton, who, as most star performers seem to do, is soon off to the Pentagon. And Rick Taylor, yes, the same Rick Taylor, who today returns to take command. Rick, those Eagles look great. And what a pleasure to welcome you and Mary back to Keesler, along with that impressive family. And speaking of families, again, I've been blessed. Blessed with a picture postcard Air Force family. Joan, Chris, Kelly, thank you for not just the past 2 years, but for your 16, 18, and 23 years of never-ending understanding, support, and all too often tremendous sacrifice. You really do make it all possible. One last word for the men and women of the 81st Support Group. I'm incredibly proud of you, and it has been a privilege to be your commander. You are all heroes of mine, and you've accomplished so much for Team Keesler. But your journey isn't complete. Commanders typically have a hard time handing over their command, and this hasn't been particularly easy for me. But I know you're in great hands with Colonel Taylor. He knows who and what you are, where you've been, and most importantly, where you're going. And that is all the way to the top. And when that day arrives and Keesler wins the Air Force's Installation Excellence Award, that win will be built upon the strong, broad shoulders of the 81st Support Group. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Taylor.
General and Mrs. Griffith, General and Mrs. Webster, General and Mrs. Speigel, Mrs. Pellick, men and women of the 81st Training Wing, and most of all, men and women of the 81st Support Group. It's a pleasure to be back. I want to begin my remarks today by thanking those of you that were involved in making this glorious day possible, everyone who came out and practiced for this parade. You're a sharp bunch of Marines, sailors, soldiers, and airmen out there. You honor Colonel Gesch and I by your presence, and I want to tell you it is very, very much appreciated. Just 11 short months ago, Mary and I stood in Marina Park, and we accepted the fond farewell of a grateful support group. We couldn't have imagined in 1,000 years that we'd be back taking command of this phenomenal organization. We're extremely pleased to be back, and we look forward to the opportunity of this command. Now, I want to tell you, I have a little bit of fear and trepidation in my heart at taking over this organization, and I'll tell you why. Right here in this reviewing stand are two of the very many giants that preceded me in this job, Colonel J. Simpson and most recently, Colonel Wolf Gesch. Both these gentlemen, mentors to me, both taught me an incredible amount about leadership and officership and everything I know about how to run a support group. I thank them for their leadership, but I need to tell you, I ask myself every day if I'm going to be able to rise to the heights that they have been able to rise to with your assistance in the 81st Support Group. If you look at my bio, sometime when you need a little sleep, you'll note that this is my 6th opportunity to take command of airmen. That's pretty unusual in the Air Force, that you have that many times to take command. And I can tell you, as they say, command is the best job in the Air Force. But standing here at this lectern today, I'm reminded of the first unit I took command of, Detachment 20, 30th Weather Squadron, just 10 miles from the demilitarized zone in South Korea. 25 Air Force airmen amongst 15,000 Army soldiers in the 2nd Infantry Division. In that command, I relieved a captain. I took command from a captain who had been relieved of command for incompetence, for negligence, and for illegal activity. He was later court-martialed. The airmen were sleeping on the floor. They had no furniture in their dorm rooms. The mission was not being accomplished. The unit was in a shambles. And there was a lot of challenge taking over that unit, but in many ways not the challenge that I'll have today, because every single thing I did at Detachment 20, 30th Weather Squadron made the unit better.
I had no way to go but up. And looking today, here I am at the 81st Support Group supporting the 81st Training Wing, which just 2 years ago won the AETC Facility Excellence Evaluation. This year was a runner-up in the Commander-in-Chief's Facility or Installation Excellence Competition. A string of awards, individual, unit, flight, at every level in the Air Force. An astounding group of squadrons, as Colonel Gesch just mentioned, and Colonel General Speigel just mentioned, the outstanding unit awards that were just presented as streamers on your guidons. And I have to ask myself, how can you top that? The 81st Support Group is at a crest of a wave, and my challenge is to keep that wave from breaking, and in fact to keep that wave to continue growing. But more than most commanders before me, I know the troops, the airmen of the 81st Support Group. In fact, I know most of you personally because I just left 11 months ago, and it seems like you're all still here. And I know what you are capable of, I know your abilities, and I know what you are capable of accomplishing. And so I put my fears to rest because we are headed up. The sky is the limit. There's nothing too great for the 81st Support Group, and I look forward to the challenge. General Speigel, I want to thank you and Colonel Gesch for anything you had to do in the mysterious process of selecting and assigning support group commanders, of getting Mary and I back to Keesler Air Force Base. It's a challenge and an opportunity I take very, very seriously, and a responsibility I take very, very seriously. We look forward to the challenge, and I think we're up to it. My vision is to make and continue Keesler as a great place to train, live, work, and play. Thanks very much for the opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments, the men and women of Keesler Air Force Base will pass in review. For today's parade, General Speigel has passed the honor of reviewing the troops to Colonel Gesch. Passing in review, the Commander of Troops, Colonel Richard W. Taylor, Commander, 81st Support Group, from Vero Beach, Florida, and his staff. Petty Officer Lester Warner from Craig Mount, Idaho. The 81st Training Group Mass, led by First Lieutenant Christopher Perry from Adelphorn, Massachusetts. First Sergeant, Senior Master Sergeant Claude Reed. As a final tribute to Colonel Gesch's dedication and commitment to the men and women of the 81st Support Group, each squadron would like to salute his focus on the mission of Keesler Air Force Base by presenting for review some vehicles used daily in that effort. First, approaching from the left, the Security Forces Squadron Law Enforcement Sedan, driven by Staff Sergeant Marcus Austin, NCOIC of Installation Security. The Security Forces Squadron, 100 strong, support air-based defense contingency operations in multiple theaters in addition to their day-to-day missions, proudly representing Keesler around the world. The 81st Communications Squadron, 170 strong, is being represented by a 1995 Chevy panel van driven by Senior Airman Leslie Kaufman. It is primarily used to transport public address equipment to their many customers across the base and downtown. Now, representing the Civil Engineer Squadron, 475 strong, is the P-22 firefighting vehicle driven by Mr. Smith from CE Operations Flight. The P-22 is a structural firefighting apparatus designed to combat structural fires which carry 600 gallons of water and 50 gallons of foam. It can discharge 1,250 gallons of water per minute and carries a maximum of 5 firefighters.